Ucore's output product in the rare earth area is immediately of great interest to the great industrial nations, the United States, Germany, Japan, Korea. None of them is currently producing rare earths from mines or processing rare earths in any way. Every one of them, added together, 50% at least of the world's rare earths go to those four nations. That's your market. The industrialized nations, for majority, of course, for consumer devices, but a significant minority for military. There are two ways to look at the demand for rare earth permanent magnets, or the materials to make them. And the reason I mention rare earth permanent magnets, they're the overwhelming majority of end use of rare earths. There are two reasons to be optimistic. One is that China is using more and more of these materials every year and simply cannot produce enough to meet its own demand. But better than that is that there is no source of these materials for the rest of the world, none. What's the demand? The demand is, will people continue to buy cell phones? Will people continue to buy automobiles, washing machines, vacuum cleaners? Every one of them uses rare earth permanent magnets. They're manufactured in the United States, Germany, Japan, Korea. That's where they're really manufactured. Those nations produce most of them. Those nations do not have domestic supply or domestic self-sufficiency. You are bringing to the market a competitive edge for the Western industrial nations. As an American, I'm proud to say you're going to be in Utah, and it's going to help us get back to being self-sufficient in production of consumer goods, which we cannot be without plants like yours. There's something called the companionability wheel. It's published by, it's originated with a professor at Yale named Gradle. And he's the US government's advisor on strategic materials, critical materials. He's made I used this, with his permission, I used his wheel in Japan in a talk where it shows the base metals and how we get the minority metals and the rare metals from each base metal. The point is, with all of that, that once you have processed a base metal, new material, those materials are gone. So you can recycle to death the base metal. Like we recycle copper, lead, zinc, tremendous platinum, fantastic amounts, 90% we recycle, but we never get any additional technology materials because we don't have any way to recover them from their disseminated use in ordinary devices. Here's what you're bringing to the table. You're bringing a technology that will allow us to recover those metals, which are only once through out from the base metals. So this basically completes this, allows us to close the life cycle. We'll be able to use those metals forever, and we have to. There just aren't a lot of them, and that's why we call them rare metals. This technology of yours is innovative and disruptive, and it's the era we live in. There's something I call technological inertia. What I mean is the way that large metal refining companies do things is the way they've always done them. They have millions and billions of dollars invested in these technologies. They're not about to change them overnight. It takes a new company to make a real change. So Ucore is not burdened by 50 years of producing technology materials. It's a new company, and so it gets to use new technology. And that technology, quite frankly, is innovative, and it's going to disrupt the rare earth world quite dramatically. As far as the culling of the rare earth herd, as I think I've written before, it's really, quite frankly, smoke and mirrors disappearing. The smoke's disappearing, the mirrors are disappearing, and the promoters and the promotions is gone. Now we just have the real companies left. The only kind of resource company that's worth a damn is one that produces something or is on a path to produce something. That's all you're seeing here is a natural evolutionary culling of the herd. So who is left? Tell me. It seems to me Ucore. And Ucore is not just a resource company. In fact, it's resource agnostic, isn't it? It's a technology company. This is the natural evolution of resource supply, to be honest with you. There's no such thing as just a mine. It's going to have to be an integrated producer of end-use products that can be used by end-use consumers, manufacturers. And that's what you're doing.